Pip pip cheerio, friends. It's your main man Murder, sipping tea here on the deck of the new Tier 3 premium British battleship, Bellerophon. Pronounced Bellerophon, this dreadnought battleship was named after the Corinthian hero from Greek mythology, who was the son of Poseidon. His claim to fame was that he captured Pegasus and killed the monster Chimera. Now, many of you have recently picked this ship up in the Halloween event and are looking for a good build for her. I implore you to avoid being a basic bitch with this ship. Don't be a Karen, don't be a Chad. I've seen a lot of chatter on social media and even a few videos suggesting you use Cunningham or Azure Lane Nelson on this ship. And while you can certainly go that route, you will be missing out on the chance to consistently dominate Tier 3 battles by building her out for speed. So I'm going to walk you through the ship, walk you through the commander build, and then take her out and show you why speed is so important in a Tier 3 battleship. Now you're going to notice almost immediately that for a Tier 3 battleship, the armor is fantastic on this ship. More specifically, this casemate section here of 203 millimeter protection wrapped around and over the top of your citadel, which, as I remove the casemate part here, you'll see this citadel very uniquely shaped and sitting at or below the waterline. The reason why this ship's citadel is shaped so uniquely is that she came with two steam engines that were in separate engine rooms. So there was some strategy in the production of this ship to keep it safe and running even after taking catastrophic damage. Now for this particular build, we're going to make sure that we use aiming systems in mod slot 1, propulsion in mod slot 2. In mod slot 3, you have to go with target acquisition systems. And of course in mod slot 4, this uber fantastic artillery plotting room. Oh my gosh, we get that in a Tier 3 ship. Only the Nassau and the Arkansas have that at Tier 3, both of which are also premiums. So really getting an accuracy bump right out of the gate. I do want to point out here that her survivability of 38,100 hit points is pretty low for this tier. One of the main reasons why you want to run a speed build here, because being able to dodge shells specifically from other battleships at this tier is hyper critical to maintain survivability. For main battery guns, she has 305 millimeter 5x2 arrangement. Her firing range is above average for Tier 3 battleships at 14.7 kilometers with a 30-second reload. And most importantly, she's got that really good British HE going for with a 32% fire setting chance. Make sure you're taking advantage of that when you can. Pretty basic AA defense of 14 for Tier 3. Her maneuverability, this is where I want to stop and spend a little extra time. Her max speed with this build is 27.2 knots. That is 40 to 50% higher than most of the battleships at Tier 3. You're just a few knots slower than most of the cruisers at this tier. You cannot sit back in this ship in a Tier 3 game and let the battle come to you. Tier 3 matches, if you want to make a big impact and put up big numbers and help your team win, you need to go find enemies and kill them as quickly as possible so that you can move on to the next one. And with a speed build in this ship, you can make substantial impact on the battlefield because you're able to move from point A to point B to point C to point kill much quicker than any other battleship on either your team or the red team. I also need to point out that her turning circle radius as well as her rudder shift time are the lowest of any battleship at Tier 3 by quite a bit. This means you're going to be able to dodge or move away from catastrophic damage much easier with this ship once you put a little bit of speed behind her. Without the speed and movement, that rudder shift and that turning radius isn't very valuable. This ship is just begging to go faster than stock. So give her what she wants, boys. Give her some speed. For concealment, she has a very respectable 11.9 kilometer detectability range. Again, very nice to position yourself some speed right up against the edge of that range to make sure that your first couple shots are impactful on the match that you're in. So I know y'all are asking, Murder, where are we going to get all this speed? And the answer is Azure Lane Hood, boys. Her base trait, Torpedo Charmer, reduces the torpedo damage to your ship, which is nice. Flammable Cannoneer in skill slot 1 is going to give you some enhanced range for those main guns. Skill slot 2, we're running Crisscross to make sure your traverse speed is adequate. Right here in skill slot 3 is the sweetness, boys. Royal Navy's Glory is Hood's special skill, and it increases the maximum speed of your battleship by 7%. She also comes with Master Mechanic, which is going to give you an extra repair party. If you get her buffed all the way up to rank 16, you're going to get 2 of those. And I also run her with Fight Fire with Fire, which is going to reduce the fire damage to your ship by 15%. It maxes out at 20%, but also helps you with 3 concurrent fires. It reduces the fire damage there as well. But to get this ship all the way up to ludicrous speed, we need to add a couple inspirations. So let's go ahead and throw Emile Pratt on here, which is going to give our speed another 3.5% buff, and Frazier for another 2.4%. Now, I don't have either one of these guys completely maxed out. If you did, you'd probably be able to squeeze an extra 1 or 2% to your top line speed on her. So let's take Little Miss Posh Spice out for a stroll, shall we? Here we are on Solomon Islands, a great map to feature the importance and value of a speed build on a tier 3 battleship. Now, if you've been on this map before, you know how those massive islands in the middle of this map really separate both sides of this map. So our plan here is to get into this B cap as quickly as we can, wipe out these enemies as fast as possible so that we can get into the middle, and if we're lucky, the other side of this map as quickly as possible to lend a hand to our friends over there. So I do want to point out with this speed build that I am outpacing these 2 cruisers that I spawned with as I move into this initial theater. My goal here is to really bully this Bravo cap, not to necessarily brawl, but really to put pressure on the cruisers and hopefully get them to make some bad choices here, either with launching torpedoes or just showing me their broadsides. This Phoenix goes ahead and ducks for cover right away, but is still giving us some good shots. I'm positioning myself so that that enemy Orion out there on the edge of my detectability isn't really going to do any catastrophic damage to me. My plan and hope here is, because I'm running Fight Fire with Fire, that they're going to try to burn me down with some HE or slowly chip away at me there while I can get them for some Citadels and then move on to this Orion that's way out there. The only thing that's really going to hurt me here is a torpedo hit or a big Citadel hit from that Orion way up there on the edge. But I'm bringing myself into this fight pretty aggressively here. I'm only really stopping to dodge torpedoes, but other than that, it's really full speed, full rudder for the most part, just getting out there after it. Now, while all this is going on, I've always got at least one eye on the mini-map here, because the red team has a destroyer and my team doesn't. So I'm waiting to see where he shows up on the map, and here he is, coming off of that 8-cap with some steam heading towards my carrier. All of a sudden, I've got to think about heading back, because I'm not real confident that the cruiser on my team that's all the way down there on the southern edge of the mini-map is got what it takes to go help out our carrier. So I'm going to get a few kill shots on this AFK Kuma here, and I'm going to start heading back that direction, hopefully able to get some shots on this Orion here while I'm heading to assist my carrier. And unfortunately for the blue team, that destroyer is extremely efficient at eliminating our carrier, and it's up to that friendly cruiser down there to keep him spotted until he gets into my firing range, which I can see wasn't able to happen. So now that destroyer went dark, I'm caught here kind of in the middle of no man's land. I have to make a choice. The carrier's plane spotted that destroyer for a microsecond. It looks like he's pushing north away from our cruiser, and we are now down on points. We're down on caps. We're gonna be facing a ship deficit here very quickly. I'm gonna move back in, get some work done on this Orion, and because I've got this speed build, I'm hoping I can push into the A cap here in the center and position myself to either finish off this Orion or locate some of the other ships on the map. Their carrier disappeared. There's another battleship out there somewhere that I have no idea where he is exactly, but I'd love to find him and do some work on him as well. But first things first, let's get into this cap here and stop the bleeding when it comes to the points on the board, because we are way down on points right now. And as you can see, we are quickly running out of time in this match. And there is nobody else on my team that is remotely close to being able to jump into either one of these caps that the red team has right now. So again, the speed of the Bellerophon is going to give you the opportunity to do some of these things that I'm pointing out here in this battle. If you're in an Arkansas or a Wyoming or a Ganget, none of those ships are fast enough to put you in a position to make speed moves the way that you can. So take advantage of it. This ship wants to go fast. Give her that little extra nudge and get her up to ludicrous speed. You're going to learn a lot about the importance of positioning with this build, and you're going to be able to take what you learn at tier 3 and tier 4 and bring it up into the higher tiers. So a great build for learning and teaching yourself how to position battleships in games as well. So here comes this Orion. He's pretty low on health, which is a welcome sight for us. We should be able to finish him off pretty quickly and take care of this alpha cap. I'm also holding some awareness right now that we haven't seen that destroyer, and there's a good chance that he's probably circling back towards me to drop some torpedoes on me. But look at this. Their enemy carrier has now popped up on the horizon, so he's within firing range as well. He made a really bold choice in moving this direction, and we kind of caught him with his hand in the cookie jar here. So let's take advantage of that as well. After we finished off this Orion, we can start opening fire on the numpty carrier out there. So what's going to make this tricky is this Hosho is going to start working on us. We're his primary target right now. We're in this cap. We are going to need to be in here for a minute to make sure that we convert it to a blue capture area, and that's going to involve dodging some torpedoes and or bombers here. We do get some help from our cruiser, who did a nice job over there in the east finishing off that Orion with a flesh wound. I'm guessing he had some fires on him that ultimately burnt him down. So here come the torpedoes. I'm going to need to dodge these. If I don't, that cap's going to reset, and all the time that I spent in there will be for nothing. I did successfully do that, thanks again to the speed and agility that this ship possesses. I'm going to keep working here on the Hosho, faux show, and hopefully get some nice strikes on her. Excellent. So here comes that destroyer. Our cruiser to the southwest here is hoping to get some help on him, and I am positioned perfectly to do just that. Now that I have A captured, we can start gathering points here. I do need to be mindful of some torpedoes coming towards me from the destroyer. I'm probably going to catch a couple of these. Yep. But let's get a few more shots here on the Valkyrie. I did switch to HE. There's his torps. I was able to get ahead of those. Will this do it? Nope. Got him down to a sliver. My cruiser's got to be able to finish him off there. Yep, very good. All right. So we went from a losing situation in this battle to being in the driver's seat at this point. I wouldn't have been able to do pretty much anything that you guys just saw without the speed build that this ship has on it right now. I wouldn't have been able to aggressively and quickly move into the A-cap. I wouldn't have been able to probably get any shots on this this carrier here. I wouldn't have been able to position myself to get some shots on that destroyer. I probably would have been sitting over there in the B-cap, still working on that Orion, or desperately chasing into Alpha, watching the time slip away from me on this battle, while that carrier is just dropping bombs and torpedoes on me. I'd be struggling to stay alive, which I am doing, but now I'm doing it from a position of strength, because we're going to get this kill, this game's going to be over, and the blue team gets a W. Now, even if you don't have Azure Lane Hood, please still consider using Guaprat and Frazier as inspirations on whatever commander you do decide to run on the Bellerophon, because that little extra speed goes a long way with this ship. She's already hyper accurate because she's got that artillery plotting room in mod slot 4, and you're running aiming systems in mod slot 1. So you've already buffed her for accuracy. She's not going to have a hard time connecting her shells with enemy ships. What she is craving is more speed, so whether you give her a little or a lot, she won't let you down. You guys, thank you so much for checking out my video today. If you have any questions, comments, or criticisms, please throw those down there in the comments section below. As always, please smash the like button and consider subscribing. You will be given alerts to when I drop new content, and also when I go live on my stream, which happens usually 3 or 4 nights a week. Please consider dropping by to say hi when that's happening, and you'll also bump into some really good players that are part of our adorable little streaming community that we're creating. So until then, we'll see you on the seas, and murder out.